Hey everyone, and welcome. For over 2 decades, I've sat across the table from people just like you, all over the world, navigating the often turbulent waters of personal finance. And you know what I've learned? Building wealth isn't about luck. It's not some secret formula only the elite know. It's about recognizing subtle shifts, embracing powerful habits, and truly understanding your relationship with money. So let me ask you something. Have you ever felt that nagging uncertainty about your financial future, that quiet whisper of doubt that keeps you up at night? Or maybe, just maybe, you've noticed small positive changes lately, glimmers of hope, signs that you might be on the right track, but you're not quite sure. What if I told you there are clear, identifiable signs that you are in fact becoming wealthy, long before you ever see millions in your account? If that sparks your curiosity, if you're ready to take control and build the financial peace you deserve, then hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more empowering insights, and let's embark on this journey together. Because here, we don't just talk about money, we transform our lives. Now I want you to do something for me. Down in the comments, type these 4 powerful words: I deserve financial peace. Let's start a movement right here, right now. Let this be your declaration, your turning point. Say it with conviction, because it's true. You absolutely deserve financial peace. Are you ready to dive into the first sign? Let's get started. All right, let's talk about the very first sign, the subtle yet profound shift that indicates you're on the path to building real wealth. It's this: you spend more on time than things. Think about that for a moment. In our society, we're constantly bombarded with messages telling us that happiness comes from what we own: the newest phone, the fanciest car, the most fashionable clothes. But as you begin to accumulate true wealth, something interesting happens. You start to realize that time, your time, is the most precious, non-renewable resource you have. Have you ever found yourself spending an entire Saturday morning cleaning your house, a task you absolutely dread? Or maybe you've spent hours comparing prices online just to save a few dollars on something that, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't really matter that much. Now ask yourself, what is your time truly worth? As your financial picture improves, you start to answer that question differently. You begin to see the value in outsourcing tasks that drain your energy and steal your precious hours. Maybe it's hiring someone to help with the housework, getting your groceries delivered, or even using a laundry service. It's not about being lazy, it's about being strategic. It's about buying back your time so you can focus on what truly brings you joy and moves you closer to your bigger goals. Think of it this way: if your time is worth, say, $100 an hour, and honestly for many of you, it's likely worth much more when you consider your potential and skills, is it really a wise investment to spend 3 hours on a task you could pay someone $50 to do? You're essentially losing $250 in potential earnings or valuable personal time. As the legendary investor Warren Buffett once said, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. And saying no to time-draining tasks is a big part of that. This also leads to valuing convenience over cost in certain situations. Maybe you choose to pay a little extra for a direct flight instead of enduring a long layover, because those extra hours are worth more to you than the savings. Perhaps you opt for a slightly more expensive service that saves you significant time and hassle. It's a conscious decision to prioritize your time and energy. And this isn't just about getting rid of unpleasant tasks. It's also about actively investing in experiences. Instead of buying another material possession that might lose its appeal in a few months, you might choose to spend that money on a weekend getaway with loved ones, a cooking class that enriches your life, or tickets to a concert that creates lasting memories. These experiences don't just fill your time, they enrich your life in ways that things often can't. As Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, wisely noted, if you put money in the bank, it's yours. But if you invest in people, and you invest in experiences, the dividends are immeasurable. Think about the last time you bought something expensive. How long did that feeling of excitement truly last? Now think about a memorable experience you had. Doesn't that memory still bring you joy? That's the fundamental shift that happens when you start valuing time over things. You realize that true wealth isn't measured in possessions, but in the richness of your life and how you choose to spend your most valuable asset, your time. So ask yourself honestly, are you still chasing fleeting material possessions, or are you starting to prioritize how you spend your time? Are you actively looking for ways to reclaim your hours and invest them in what truly matters? This subtle shift in focus, this conscious decision to value time above all else, is a powerful indicator that you are indeed on the path to becoming wealthy. It's a sign of maturity, of understanding true value, and of taking control of your most precious resource. Let that sink in for a moment. What small step can you take today to reclaim some of your time? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your experiences. And when we come back, we'll delve into the second crucial sign on your journey to financial well-being. Stay with me. All right, let's talk about the second powerful sign that you are moving from just earning a living to truly building wealth. This one is monumental, a true game changer. It's when you realize that your money makes money. Now think about your current financial life. For most of us, our primary source of income is trading our time for money. We go to a job, we put in the hours, and we get a paycheck. It's a transaction. Your time is the currency. But what happens when you're not working? What happens when you're sleeping, or on vacation, or spending time with family? For most people, the income stream stops. That's the rat race, and it's exhausting. But true wealth is different. It's a shift in thinking, a pivot from being the source of your income to building a system where your money becomes the source of income. This is the very essence of wealth creation. It's the moment your money stops being just a tool for spending and starts becoming a powerful employee that works for you 24/7. One of the first ways this happens is through passive income streams. Now I know that phrase can sound a little intimidating, but let's simplify it. Passive income is money you earn without actively being there to trade your time. It's the income that flows in even while you're living your life. This could be from a small side business that you've built and systematized, like an online store that runs on its own, or maybe royalties from a book you wrote, or music you created. It's about planting a seed and watching it grow into a magnificent tree that provides fruit for years to come. Then there are dividend earnings. This is one of the most beautiful and elegant forms of passive income. When you own a share of a profitable company, that company often shares a portion of its profits with you, the owner. They send you a check, a dividend, just for being a shareholder. It's money for doing absolutely nothing, but having the foresight to own a piece of a great business. Imagine getting a dividend check every few months. A little thank you note from a company like Apple or Coca-Cola, saying thanks for being one of our owners. Here's your share of our profits. That's not a transaction, that's a dividend of your wisdom. As Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing, said, the investor who permits himself to be driven from a sound investment position by either panic or unwarranted euphoria is a fool. This wisdom allows you to hold on and watch those dividends roll in. And finally, we have real estate or stock growth. This is where your assets appreciate in value over time, creating wealth while you sleep. Think about it. A piece of land or a well-chosen stock you bought years ago for, say, $50,000 could now be worth $150,000. You didn't do anything to create that extra $100,000. The market did the work for you. It's the difference between a high-paying job and a high-performing asset. A job gives you cash flow, an asset gives you wealth. Robert Kiyosaki, in his book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, so famously taught us to focus on buying assets that put money in our pocket, rather than liabilities that take money out. So let me ask you a deep, honest question. Can you truly see a path where your money begins to work harder than you do? What would it feel like to wake up on a random Tuesday, check your phone, and see that your investments earned you a significant amount while you were sleeping? What kind of freedom would that create? This isn't about being lazy. It's about being smart. It's about shifting from the hustle of trading time for dollars to the quiet, powerful process of letting your money compound and grow. This sign is a profound one because it marks the end of financial desperation and the beginning of true financial peace. It's about moving from a state of constant earning to a state of sustained building. Let this be your wake-up call. Start looking for ways to plant your financial seeds. You may not see a forest overnight, but with every seed you plant, you're one step closer to a life of abundance. All right, let's move on to the third sign, that you are on the path to financial freedom. This one isn't about what you're doing with your money. It's about how you feel about your money. The third sign is you're calm during financial storms. Think back to the last time you heard some bad financial news. Maybe the stock market took a big plunge, or perhaps your company announced layoffs. For many people, these moments trigger an instant, gut-wrenching panic. You feel a knot in your stomach. You start to catastrophize. The first thought is, how am I going to survive this? What am I going to do? This feeling, this anxiety, is what it's like to be in a constant state of financial uncertainty. But as you become truly wealthy, that reaction changes. That knot in your stomach, it's gone. That panic, it's replaced with a quiet, confident sense of calm. Why? Because you have a safety net, a lifeboat, a foundation you've built with your own hands. You have an emergency fund in place. This isn't just a few dollars in a savings account. It's a significant cushion, a rainy day fund that can cover 3, 6, or even 12 months of your living expenses. It's the ultimate antidote to financial stress. This cushion doesn't just protect you from unexpected events like a job loss or a medical emergency. It protects your peace of mind. It allows you to breathe. When everyone else is running around, selling their assets in a panic, you can sit back and see the bigger picture. You have the luxury of a long-term mindset. You know that market downturns are temporary, a normal part of the economic cycle. You understand that a temporary setback isn't a permanent failure. This is what separates the seasoned investor from the anxious speculator. Andrew Carnegie, one of the wealthiest men in history, said, "Put all your eggs in one basket and then watch that basket." He wasn't suggesting reckless risk. He was talking about deep conviction in a well-researched plan. This confidence stems from having a clear, well-thought-out financial plan. You've done the work. You know where your money is going. You have a budget. You're investing consistently, and you're focused on your long-term goals. Because of this, you're not making emotional, knee-jerk decisions. You're not being swayed by the daily news cycle or the latest trend. Instead, you are sticking to your strategy, a strategy that you know deep down is sound. This is the difference between hoping for the best and knowing you are prepared for the worst. It's what allows you to be an oasis of calm in a world of financial chaos. I want you to reflect on this for a moment. Imagine a time when you weren't worried about money. What did that feel like? Now think about the steps you can take to build that safety net so you never have to feel that way again. What would it mean to you to have a financial plan so strong that a market crash feels like an opportunity, not a catastrophe? This sign is a testament to your discipline and foresight. It's about building a fortress around your financial life, not just for the sake of security, but for the sake of your mental and emotional well-being. It is the very definition of financial peace. When you're no longer reacting to every financial headline and are instead acting on a plan, you've achieved a level of control that is a true hallmark of wealth. Stay with me as we continue this journey. In our next session, we'll explore another powerful sign of a wealthy mindset, one that requires a single powerful word. All right, let's talk about the fourth, and perhaps most liberating, sign that you are becoming wealthy. This one is all about boundaries, discipline, and a quiet confidence in your own path. The fourth sign, you say no more often. Now this can feel a little counterintuitive, right? We're conditioned to say yes to every opportunity, to every social invitation, to every person who asks for a piece of our time or a slice of our wallet. We say yes because we're afraid of missing out, or we want to be liked, or we feel a sense of obligation. But as you build wealth, you start to see that every yes you give is a no to something else. A yes to a night out with people who drain your energy is a no to an early start on your side project. A yes to an unnecessary purchase is a no to investing in your future. As a mentor, I can tell you that this is where the real work happens. It's not just about earning more money, it's about being ruthless with your most precious resources, your time and your focus. As legendary investor Warren Buffett so famously said, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. They aren't saying no to life. They are being incredibly selective with opportunities. They are saying no to distractions, to low-value activities, and to anything that doesn't align with their long-term vision. This is the ultimate act of guarding your time. It is a powerful declaration that your time is valuable and you will not squander it. This also directly relates to avoiding lifestyle inflation. We've all seen it happen. You get a promotion, a salary bump or a bonus, and suddenly you feel like you deserve a new car, a more expensive apartment, or a closet full of new clothes. This is the invisible financial trap that keeps so many people from ever getting ahead. Saying no to these pressures, to this societal expectation that you must spend more as you earn more, is a sign of immense discipline. It means you are playing a different game, a long-term game, where you prioritize building assets over buying liabilities. You are saying no to the fleeting satisfaction of a new gadget, so you can say yes to the enduring security of financial freedom. I want you to take a moment and honestly reflect on this. How many times this past week did you say yes to something you knew deep down you shouldn't have? A social gathering that didn't energize you, a purchase that didn't align with your values. What would it feel like to simply say, with a calm smile, "That's not for me right now," and feel no guilt? Saying no is not selfish. It is a profound act of self-respect and a cornerstone of true wealth building. This is a sign of your maturity and your commitment to a bigger purpose. When you can confidently say no, you're not just declining an invitation, you're actively choosing your own path. You are protecting your peace, your purpose, and your prosperity. Stay with me, because in our next session, we'll talk about the single best investment you can ever make. It's not in stocks, or real estate, or any company. It's in yourself. All right, let's move on to the fifth sign, one that's near and dear to my heart. This one is all about recognizing that your greatest asset isn't your portfolio, your house, or even your bank account. Your greatest asset is you. The fifth sign is you invest in learning. Think back to your school days. For many of us, formal education felt like a requirement, something we had to get through. But for those on the path to true wealth, education becomes a lifelong pursuit, a relentless and joyful act of self-improvement. They see learning not as a cost, but as the single most powerful investment they can ever make. When was the last time you bought a book that taught you a new skill, or invested in an online course that could directly increase your earning potential? For many people, spending a few $100s on a new television or a night out is easy, but spending that same amount on a course or a mentor feels like a huge risk. But here's the reality, that television depreciates the moment you plug it in, but the knowledge and skills you acquire will pay you dividends for the rest of your life. As the great Benjamin Franklin once said, an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. This isn't just about formal education, it's about a deep commitment to financial literacy. This is a skill, just like learning to play the piano or speak a new language. You have to be intentional about it. It's reading books on personal finance, following mentors who simplify complex ideas, and taking the time to understand concepts like compound interest, asset allocation, and market cycles. People will spend years training for a profession, but will not spend a single day learning how to manage the money that profession generates. This is a critical mistake that keeps them from building wealth. And this investment in learning isn't just for money, it's for developing strategic thinking. When you read biographies of successful people like Warren Buffett, or Jack Ma, or John D. Rockefeller, you start to see patterns. You learn from their victories, and just as importantly from their failures. You see how they thought about challenges, how they made decisions, and how they built their empires. This kind of learning allows you to see around corners, to anticipate problems, and to spot opportunities that others miss. It gives you an incredible advantage, not because you're smarter, but because you are wiser. I want you to ask yourself, are you a lifelong learner? Are you actively seeking out knowledge that will help you grow? Or are you consuming content that only entertains you? What's one specific thing you could learn right now that would improve your financial future, and what's stopping you from doing it? This sign is a powerful testament to your understanding that you are your greatest asset. It's about building a mind that is resilient, resourceful, and capable of solving any problem. This is a kind of wealth that no one can ever take away from you. Stay with me, because in our next session, we'll talk about the company you keep and how the people around you can either propel you forward or hold you back. If you're getting value from this video and want to see more content like this, please hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. It means the world to me, and it really helps the channel grow. I'm on a mission to hit 100,000 subscribers, and with your support I know we can get there. Now that you've liked and subscribed, let's continue with our discussion. Alright, let's talk about the sixth sign, and this one is a bit different. It's not just about your habits or your mindset, it's about the people you choose to have in your life. The sixth sign is, you're surrounded by other wealth builders. Now think for a moment about the 5 people you spend the most time with. The friends you call when you have good news, the people you vent to, the colleagues you grab lunch with. What are their conversations typically about? Are they talking about new business ideas, investment opportunities, and personal growth? Or are they mostly focused on complaints, gossip, and the latest things to buy? It's an old saying, but it holds a timeless truth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. The truth is, wealth building can feel like a lonely journey. It requires discipline, sacrifice, and a long-term vision that many people don't share. That's why it's so critical to build your tribe. This isn't about ditching your old friends, but it is about being intentional with who you spend your most valuable hours with. You start to find yourself networking with high-value individuals, people who are on a similar mission. This isn't just about schmoozing or climbing a social ladder. It's about genuine connection with people who inspire you to be better. This shared company creates a powerful engine for growth. You start to have shared goals and accountability. Instead of your friends encouraging you to blow your money on a night out, they're asking you about your investment strategy. They celebrate your financial wins and help you navigate your setbacks. Your conversations shift from "did you see what they bought?" to "did you hear about this investment opportunity?" This kind of environment provides a constant positive pressure to level up, and it makes you feel seen and supported on a path that can often feel isolating. And perhaps most importantly, being around other wealth builders gives you exposure to new ideas. You start to hear about strategies you never knew existed, from different types of real estate to new technologies to scaling a business. Your network becomes a living, breathing library of knowledge and experience. As the great philosopher Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This is not an act of selfishness, it's an act of self-preservation and strategic growth. I want you to take a deep, honest look at your circle. Do the people around you pull you up or pull you down? What kind of energy and conversations are you surrounding yourself with? What small step could you take this week to connect with someone who inspires you to think bigger and be better? This sign is a powerful indicator that you are not just building wealth, you are building a life designed for success. You are intentionally curating your environment to support your highest goals. Stay with me because we are almost at the finish line. In our final and most powerful sign, we'll talk about the ultimate leap from being an earner to being a true creator. All right, my friends, we have arrived at the 7th and final sign that you are on the path to becoming truly wealthy. This is the ultimate evolution, the pinnacle of the entire journey we've discussed. The 7th sign is you're building, not just earning. For most of our lives, we are taught to be earners. We learn a skill, get a job, and trade our time for a paycheck. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's a necessary part of the journey. But there is a massive fundamental difference between being an earner and being a builder. An earner works for a wage, but a builder creates the machine that pays the wages. An earner gets a paycheck, but a builder creates the system that generates paychecks for others, including themselves. This is the ultimate shift from being a consumer to being a creator. It's the move from just spending money to creating assets that produce income. This is a topic we touched on earlier, but here it's about a complete change in identity. It's no longer just about buying a stock or a piece of real estate. It's about creating something from nothing. It could be a business that solves a problem for thousands of people, an online course that teaches a valuable skill, or a portfolio of properties that generates passive income. As the great industrialists of the past understood, true wealth is not in the money you make, it's in the things you build. This mindset is what allows for scaling businesses. You start to think beyond just your own efforts. You ask questions like, how can I create a system that runs without me? And how can I leverage technology and people to serve 1,000 customers instead of just 10? You're no longer just working in the business. You're working on the business. You're becoming the architect of your own financial future, not just a bricklayer on someone else's building. And finally, this leads to the most profound stage of wealth thinking generationally. At this point, it's no longer just about your own retirement or your own comfort. It's about building a legacy that will last for generations. It's about building a financial foundation so strong that your children and their children will never have to face the financial uncertainty you once did. This is the ultimate act of love and responsibility. This is the purpose of wealth. As John D. Rockefeller said, I know of nothing more despicable and pathetic than a man who devotes all the hours of the waking day to the making of money for money's sake. Wealth is not the goal, it is the tool you use to build something greater than yourself. So let me ask you this final powerful question. Are you just earning, or are you building? Are you simply getting through the week, or are you creating something that will outlast you? My friends, these 7 signs are not a checklist. They are a roadmap, a guide to a new way of thinking and living, from valuing your time over things, to having your money work for you, to being calm during storms, to the power of saying no to investing in yourself, to surrounding yourself with greatness, and finally to building a legacy. This is what financial freedom truly looks like. If you've watched this video and felt a shift inside you, if a new sense of hope and clarity has emerged, then I want you to remember our rally cry. Type it one last time in the comments and say it with me out loud, with conviction. I deserve financial peace. You are not alone on this journey. The path is not always easy, but it is always worth it. I believe in you, and I am here for you every step of the way. Thank you for being here. Until next time, keep building.